Mr. Burke's affidavit does not make any claim that he signed in September stating that there was anything wrong with the affidavits signed by me in 2008. It turns out, on careful analysis, the document that Ms. Ohanian notarized on November 27th is in fact precisely the same kind of writing as the documents that she provided me with that I used until I used them up. Now, Mr. Burke tries to make it look that I did something despicable and that I committed a fraud on the court. Let me tell all of you who committed the fraud on the court. Mr. Burke has been caught tampering with referee Souter, using ex-party communications to create an order that referee Souter actually filed, knowing that I was in California under medical treatment, saying that I didn't show up and therefore I should be sanctioned for the tune of $7 million, my claims being thrown out. If it wasn't that I learned of this through my assistant, Mr. Wilson, Lord knows what would have happened. I had to file an immediate handwritten motion to get the thing thrown out. Burke has secreted material evidence, including a note of issue, for over 3 years, let referees come and go, let discovery continue that was barred and precluded, conned the appellate division to get one of my complaints thrown out, and continued to defraud me and to defraud the courts. Burke is certainly resourceful, as he claims he is in his masthead on his advertisements on Google and wherever else he advertises. Now, the fact of the matter is Ms. Ohanian does not deny in her follow-up affidavit that she's a drug abuser. She can't, because I saw her using marijuana. Now, that's of no interest to me, except I want to find out why she's lying. Well, I'll tell you why she's lying. She was bought and paid for by these people, probably at the same time they were stealing my medical malpractice money, and she continues on to cover up because she knows what she did as a notary was wrong, which was she shouldn't have sold me 35 signatures. But I didn't sign them later, I signed them in front of her. And I signed her book. So the whole thing is literally unbelievable. But Mr. Burke chooses to continue on his course of conduct. All of this isn't bad enough. He then tried to compromise a key witness of mine, a notary that notarized Burke's client's agreements, when the client said he never signed them, and the notary put in an affidavit said certainly he signed them and I was there and I know the man. Burke writes the lady a letter and he tells the lady, please call me. Now, he doesn't bother calling me or writing me. He does that without advising me. This is the type of person you are dealing with here. The guy is a despicable thief and a liar. This is no way to run a litigation. What makes matters worse is that the court seems to put on blinders and does not want to focus on what Mr. Burke has done. The fraud on the court with secreting a note of issue, the fraud on the court with tampering and probably bribing people in the courthouse. Lord knows what he did with Souter. Why would a referee have ex-party communications and tell Mr. Burke to write an order for him that he knew was illegal and barred by the fact that a note of issue was filed? This is not a litigation. This is a hangman's deal. This is a kangaroo deal. You can't run a litigation like this. Mr. Burke knows that he is tampering with witnesses. Mr. Burke knows full well that I have not been in New York in 2 years. And I want everybody to know here and now, the past week and a half, I've been in the hospital twice. I have been now diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma, which is deadly. At best, I'm given an average life expectancy of 9 months. The rest is in God's hands. I have been undergoing tests with the hope of being able to get into treatment. As a result of everything that I've had to experience with these people, it is my intention to follow up with some of the people that I've already communicated with on the various networks, including Keith Oberman, Rachel Maddow, Bill O'Reilly, Chris Matthews, and some others such as Glenn Beck and Larry King. It's about time that all of these antics that these people have played, not only with me, but with many others, are exposed. It's about time that the corruption, the favoritism and bias in these courts is also exposed. I want to go back for 1 minute about this notary Ohanian, because there's another troubling element. She has a logbook, which she claims that every time I would come in there, I would sign and she would sign off on, or my wife would sign and Ohanian would sign off on. That logbook is replete with forgeries. I dare say that Marlene Couri signed probably 3 times legitimately. There are over 30 phony signatures in Ohanian's book that Marlene Couri never signed and never saw. What makes matters worse is there are signatures in there that aren't even mine. Ohanian claims that I signed 45 releases in a week. Unless I was smoking grass, I've never signed 45 releases in my life, legitimately. Interestingly enough, on each of her log pages, there is a fax transmission number, which happens to be Russo and Burke and Ken Gomez. Who do they think they're trying to fool with their con games and lies and deception? Now Mr. Burke has the audacity of targeting Scamraiders, saying that Scamraiders is really Jim Couri. Mr. Burke, Scamraiders is not Jim Couri. Scamraiders is Scamraiders owned by Jabberwabble Corporation, which are run by legitimate, honest people. We've gotten numbers of members, hundreds of them, thousands of hits a day, and hundreds of accolades a week from members that say we've helped them. We've done some good for them, not corrupt and poisoned the way you are. People like you don't deserve to be next to good, decent, honest people. You are thieves and you must be exposed. And if it's my last breath, it's my intention to expose you, your firm, and your clients, and George Pavia for being the larcenous crooks that you are. And I have the poetic license to say that because I can prove it. And I intend to give it to Glenn Beck. And I intend to give it to Rachel Maddow. And I intend to give it to Larry King. And I intend to give it to the networks. And I intend so that they know how a crooked law firm operates and how you extort people and bombard them with letters, phone calls, harassment, so that your client can unjustly enrich himself by stealing my $20 million and then conning Judge Stallman into believing that I did something wrong. I respectfully ask Judge Stallman to please review and take a look at the misconduct of referee Souter and Joe Burke. And please take a look at how, for 3 years, the secretion of a note of issue can be gone along and everybody spending time and money for discovery that was barred, and then blame me that I didn't comply with discovery that was barred in the first place. When you finally vacate the note of issue that was in existence for 4 years that Burke didn't tell anybody about. I don't understand what's going on in these courts. This is unbelievable. Everybody's entitled to a level playing field. And I'm not getting it, and I know dozens of people that are not. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to having you listen to more of my tapes. Thank you.